Lately, we have been very busy, like doing projects, building new features, and we're gonna now try to more often show you what we have been building over the past days, months, weeks. And in this video, I'm gonna explain something about the profiler we have been building. So here you see our architecture, and which is most familiar for most people, portal, warehouse, and we have two workers at the bottom. And what we have been building now is some kind of self-learning profiler, which will improve the connectivity towards your device. So the moment we're connecting to your network, some customers don't have like one pair of credentials for network devices. Some don't know what work. So we had projects where we had like 40 different SNMP credentials and 40 SSH credentials and sometimes some telnet and sometimes it's mixed. And it mostly happens when companies do mergers and they acquire other companies and they just don't know what's out there, how it's connected. And for us, it was a little bit of a problem because it was slowing down the connectivity toward the devices and making actually the whole data discovery very slow. So we decided to make something smart and we call it a profiler. And a profiler is remembering the last state of the device that actually worked. And on top of that, it's saving some metadata. And I'm going to show that in this video actually. So what I have here is a database with no devices. So we're going to start from scratch. Now what I did is here in the vault, I configured three different SSH username and passwords. And for SNMP, I configured four of them. Now if I go here to the device finder, I have my home network and my lab configured here. And I gave them both a different tag, meaning it's going to run on different workers, since our workers can be horizontally distributed. We'll cover that in another video, so it will go a little bit faster. So I'm going to start the Finder now, and we're going to see how it works. While this runs, I want to explain you a little bit why this was needed to build, because the thing is that you can configure a timeout before it goes to the next one. So if you have 40 SNMP credentials configured and you maybe have a timeout of 30 seconds, it's going to take very long for every device before it moves on to the next one. So every time you want to do a run, it's going to become very slow. So the way our profiler works is that the first time it's going to be slow. It's going to take the longest. But then the next time it knows which fault actually worked on the previous one. And therefore the next run will be much faster because it's going to try first the fault for that device that worked. If that one doesn't work, it's going to go down the list. So since I just scheduled it, I'm going to get the containers here. And as you can see, we have multiple scanners. So I'm going to check scanner 2. And as you can see here, it started to scan an IP and it starts with Vault ID 1 and then it says possible Vault IDs. So this is how it's doing it. It's going to try them all. And the moment one worked, it's remembering it and then yeah, storing it in a little profile. As you can see, Vault 1 didn't work. So here it's now starting to try Vault number 2. And this way it goes down the list. And for scanner 3, yeah, it's actually the same. As you see, it's doing it for another subnet and it's now on the other one. So give it a couple minutes while it's building up the profile and trying all the vaults for all the IPs in the subnet, and then we will see what to come back with. So the scans are finished, and what you can see here, for example, on scanner 3, it found 19 results. Runtime was 160 seconds, but from the 19 results, they're not all network devices. So what we can see here on the side is that actually my two MikroTik core routers came in, both found on Tech 2 and Tech 3, meaning the two different workers. I call them Tech 2 and Tech 3. But what's cool now is that if we open the API and I scroll down to devices, we have here an option to actually ask the backend for the device profile that was being built. And you can see here per device ID the profile it has. So the timeout, the default timeout that was configured worked, so it did not manipulate it. If the default timeout does not work, it's going to try to double it. And if that one doesn't work, it tries to double it again. And if that one works, it will remember that in here as well. So even the timeout is like automatically adjusted. What you can see here is that it remembered uh, both for SNMP and SSH, the IDs that worked. So next time when it goes in, it's going to try first ID 2 before it's going to go into the other two. And I'm going to show you that quickly here. So can I show the ID here? Yeah. So ID 2 was the one that worked, ID 1 not. So what we can do now, if I go back to the Finder and I disable those two, yes, and I enable this one. So I'm gonna do it on one device and start. Since I did not configure a tag, it goes round robin. So I'm curious which worker takes the request. Not 3, probably 1. Yeah, there we go. So as you see, it comes in again. So this is the IP. This is the list of vaults, but this time it says vault ID is 2, meaning this comes from the profile. First try vault ID 2. If that doesn't work, go down the list. But as you can see here, it worked, it's found, and it's added. So this is how the profiler works. Now it's doing a bit more on top of that. It's also doing blacklisting. So if you have a large network, let's say 10,000 devices, and there are a couple there that are active, but we actually cannot log in, and it's slowing down the process every day, we will automatically blacklist it. And then the next day try it again. And if it then actually work, we'll automatically remove it from the blacklist. So it's back in the batch. So this way it's easy for you as well to see like, hey, which devices don't work or we can actually not log into. And what we do, and we don't use this data yet, but we're gonna do more with that in the future for maybe health checks, is that every device has its own profiler where you can precisely see for every command we executed, how long it took and how many records it got back. So this way we can over time build some kind of health check where we can predict maybe for certain devices like, hey, yesterday it took this long, now it took this long. Watch out, maybe there is something wrong with the device, high CPU, memory leaks. I don't know, but we register this all in a profile to improve the quality and the connectivity toward the devices. And yeah, that's our profiler. I hope you liked it. If you have questions, feedback, or suggestions, let me know and we can take that in the next video.